Good morning, everybody. I am a daddy's girl, and my daddy has been my biggest supporter and provider for my whole entire life. My dad has been strong. He has been the rock of my family. My circle is really small. I lost my mom in 2002, and I'm an only child. So, my journey of taking care of my father, who suffers from congestive heart failure, has been a challenge, but it's been the most rewarding experience of my life. For those of you who may not know, congestive heart failure is a term used to describe the heart not pumping blood efficiently throughout the body, so it may cause low oxygen levels. It may cause swelling of the legs, ankles, and feet. And it will also cause breathlessness. Um, there's about 6.2 million Americans that suffer from congestive heart failure. I was thrust into being a caregiver October 9th, 2009. My daily routine consisted of going by my dad's house and checking on him before I started my day. So this particular day was like no other. I went by my dad's house and I could immediately tell that something was wrong. I walked in the house and he was in the midst of getting himself together for the day. I think he was in the bathroom about to brush his teeth, and he just looked so weak and he was about to fall. And so I rushed over, got him where I could sit him down, and I immediately called 911. This was a day I'll never forget. And as I'm calling 911, I'm running around the house. I'm trying to grab his medication list and paperwork so that when I got to the hospital and the doctors asked me questions about, his medications and his other health issues, that I was prepared so that they can go forth and do what they needed to do. So the paramedics came, they rushed him to the emergency room. Things were moving so fast and I was a nervous wreck, but I had to remain calm in the midst of my storm because I have a daughter. I'm a single mom as well. And so I didn't know what was going on. I knew that he had heart issues, so I was thinking that he was suffering from a heart attack. But once he got in the back, they hooked him up to all the machines. Some time it went by, hours it seemed like, and the doctor said that the diagnosis was congestive heart failure. They explained to me that they hooked him up to all the machines and that they gave him a medication called furosemide, which most people might know is a water pill, and that makes the patient urinate a lot to get the fluid from around the lungs and the heart. And he had a lot of fluid buildup around his lungs and around his heart. And so the doctor said that they needed to proceed with placing him in an induced coma and that he needed to have a procedure to get a breathing tube and needed my permission to do that. And that he would come back out and speak to me about his plan of treatment moving forward. So as I'm sitting in the waiting room, I am Googling what congestive heart failure is. I heard of the term, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of congestive heart failure. So when the doctor came back out, he explained to me or asked me, did I know what congestive heart failure was? I said that I Googled it, but didn't really know. He explained to me what it was, told me the plan of treatment moving forward, said that my dad did suffer a heart attack. One of his arteries was 80% blocked, and that they would, once he was well enough, they would have to place a stent in one of his hearts. So a stent is just, I like to use the term like a band-aid, where they go in and place like a balloon type situation in the artery to kind of open it back up so the blood flow can continue to flow through that particular artery. And so he had to have that procedure done. And he stayed in the hospital for about 3.5 weeks. And then he had to, once he got discharged, he had to go to a real rehabilitation center. And so the whole process from that particular morning on October 9th until he came home was about 2.5 months. And here I am, a single mom. I was in school full time, and now I'm thrust into being a caregiver for my dad. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how I was going to do this, but I knew that I was chosen for the assignment. I knew that God put me in the position to take care of my dad. And I was fearful. I was scared of the unknown. I just didn't know how I was going to do this. Myself, I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship, and my life was on a new path. I was just now getting myself to where I had gotten a new job. I had gotten back in school. My daughter was becoming more active in her school activities and her extracurriculars. And so I'm thinking my life is on this path, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, things just took a turn. And so when my dad came home, that was the beginning of our new normal. That was the beginning of, okay, things have got to change, and we've got to work together as a family. Even though we're a small family, we can get through this, but things have got to change. And he fought me on it because, like I said, my dad is a strong man. He's always been the one that me and my mom and now my daughter have, go to fix things and to, just make for reassurance and encouragement. And so now the tables have turned and I have to do this for him. So he fought me on it, and he's like, I can still do, I can still take care of myself, and I don't need you to. He felt like I was babying him. And so it took a long time, but he got to the point where he could not, he finally understood that he could not do certain things and that he needed me. And so the walls were breaking down to now, okay, I need my daughter, I need my granddaughter, you know, I just can't do certain things. And that was hard. And I had to work with him through that. And it was a process, but we are at that point now where he understands that, but yet and still, I try to give him a little independence on some things. Some things he can do. He moves a little slower, but I watch over him just to make sure. But he still can do some things. We've gotten to that point. Um, my life is headed in a direction of uncertainty. I had to make a decision. Here I am with this new job opportunity, and I'm calling off work a lot. I'm taking my daughter out of school early because depending on what is going on, I don't know if I can make it back on that side of town to pick her up on time and things like that. So she's missing time from school, and a decision had to be made. And the decision that I made was I took a leave of absence from work in order to get things in order. And that was my rock bottom moment because I'm like, how do I provide for me and my daughter? How do I sustain how do I sustain us? And so, like I said, all I know was that my dad needed me. God would make a way. And I just relied on my faith. And even though it was a rock bottom moment for me, it took some time for me to grasp my new normal. And it was hard. It was very hard. But like I said, I just relied on my faith. God made a way, and he has seen us through it. And our journey has been long, it's been hard, but he's seen us through it. And I have to pat myself on the back because I've really stepped up to the plate when it comes to taking care of my dad. I've been his advocate. I have spoken up for my dad when he couldn't. I've demanded certain things for him. I have learned all about his medications, the side effects, what is good for him, what's not good for him. I've even went to the point of switching his doctors and his hospital because of research that I've done. And through it all, I had to change his whole lifestyle, which meant I had to change his diet. So now he's on a low sodium diet, and he had to become more mobile. The doctors were really, really on me about he had to kind of move. He couldn't stay stagnant how he once was. And so the way that my house is set up, I had to move him in my home with me. And the way that my house is set up, he could go through the kitchen, the living room, and the dining room as if he's taking laps. He walks with a walker. He takes his time, but I make sure every day that he takes a couple of laps to get the blood flowing and circulation moving, and he's able to go through my home and take laps. I also got him some resistance bands. So when he goes back in his room, he can sit in his chair and take the bands and do arm exercises and leg exercises. And so he's been pretty consistent with that. And I'm proud of him for that. And with that, me and my daughter have also become heart healthy with him. So everybody in the house is on the journey with him. I didn't want him feeling isolated, and so we took the journey with him, which in turn has made me more healthier, more heart healthy conscious. And then I teach my daughter along the way, with what I've learned. And it's been a blessing. And I thank God that my dad is still here with me. My dad has come a long way. And even though he doesn't get out the house much, he likes to sit on the phone and talk to family members he hasn't seen in years, and he likes to tell jokes. And I've heard his jokes a million times, but I just thank God for him. I would like to leave you with 3 takeaways. The first one is self care. A lot of people think of self care as just, oh, I'll go get a mani pedicure, but self care is deeper than that. Self care is taking time out and checking your mental state. Self care is writing your feelings and emotions in a journal. Self care is getting the proper rest that you need, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your loved ones. Number 2 is writing your feelings down in a journal, and having a support system. It's okay to go through the emotions. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel vulnerable, but make sure you have a team that can pick you back up. And the third thing is to tell your loved ones that you love them every single day, and to make sure that you get your paperwork or their paperwork in order. So when that day does come, it's a smooth transition and that you can execute what they wanted. In conclusion, I just like to say to my caregivers to stay the course. God doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. And along with this platform and your other loved ones and support system, we can get through. You can find me on Facebook at Tonyell Hardy Rogers. My email address is T_Rogers55@yahoo.com. I can also be found in a digital magazine called Making Headline News. And be on the lookout for a support group that I'm starting for caregivers. Thank you so much, everyone, and God bless each and every one of you.